Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the roles in Murder Mystery. Some you have seen on my channel and some you haven't. So today I'm just going to go through them. So there's 14 roles. I'm going to be doing in my opinion, the worst one first, and then I'll save the best one till last. So if you don't know how roles work, this video will also just explain how they all work. And I'm just going to give a brief opinion about each role and what I think of them. So coming in at 14th place, we have the lover role, specifically because it, well, I mean, your goal is pretty much just to be one of the last three surviving, but your other lover must also be alive. So pretty much what this means is, say there's 10 people in the game, you and your lover will both have to be in the top three to win. It's hard enough, and lover wins are rare. And the worst thing is you're alive and well. Your lover dies, and that means that you die. I find that rule so stupid. I get that it's a part of the role, but I absolutely hate it. I think the upside to the role is that if you are a lover and then you get past the murderer book, it does cancel out. If your lover partner dies, you don't die. If you are one of the last three, still, even if you have been past the murderer, you still win no matter what. So at that point, it isn't as bad. But I just hate being the lover because I keep getting killed because my partner dies. I think the role is pretty much just a hit or miss. Some people love it, some people hate it. I know I can name a few people in my mind who get the lover role quite a lot. There is DT, Carter, and Jamie I can think of in particular. I I think sometimes I get it a lot, sometimes I don't get it that much. I just don't like the role. I can see why people like it. It just feels a bit pointless to me. It doesn't really feel like much of an achievement, in my opinion. You just kind of lived. If I'm a lover, I'm probably just going to hide. Because if I get killed, I'm probably killing off another innocent with me. 13, we have the foreigner role. So, this role used to be that all you do is just say foreigner. That's literally all you do. You're just an innocent. All you can say is foreigner. That's stupid. It has been upgraded a bit, so I think you have to say foreigner at the beginning and end of every sentence, which I still think is really stupid because you're being annoying, even though you can't really help it because it's a part of your role. Two, you're an obvious innocent, and I think it kind of ruins the mystery part of it. It just feels like a bit of a pointless role to me, and I don't like being the foreigner role, and I don't think a single person that I know likes being the foreigner. Number 12, we have the trickster role. So there are two ways that this role works. The one I'm going to be talking about is that you get killed, you can't say anything, and at any point after you've been killed, you can call out maybe once or twice that you're dying to supposedly confuse the murderers. However, to me, that doesn't really make any sense. I don't understand how it would confuse them if they know that they've already killed you, so I'm a bit confused, unless it was their partner. The other half of the role is the modded one. Well, not modded, but uses a lot of command blocks where there's like three potential murderers on the screen, you and two other people. One of them is your actual partner. The other one is a fake partner, so maybe if you kill in front of the fake one, they can kill you for it and go, oh, I'm actually the trickster, and that person thought I was the murderer. We're not doing that one. I think the one that is used more is the one I'm going to be talking about. I just don't really like this role because to me it just feels a bit pointless. To help people know where you're dying, it's good to actually call out a location, and if you call out a fake location after you're already dead, it could also potentially clear a murderer. It can pretty much just go either way. I don't hate the role. I've barely ever been the role because we barely ever use the role, but I just don't really see the point in it. Coming in at number 11, we have the Jester role. What you have to do is try and get killed by an innocent, and if you manage to get killed by an innocent, you win. You're not allowed to use a sword, but you're allowed to use a bow, and I don't like the role because it's so difficult to win, and people almost always know when you're the Jester. I think the easiest way to win as a Jester, in my opinion, is to try and get in the way of people fighting or use bows. But even then, it's still pretty annoying. You are allowed to use a sword if you do get attacked, as far as I'm aware. And the murderer book, if you get past it, then it does cancel out your role as being the Jester. But I just find the Jester difficult to win, and I don't really see much of a point in it because even though isn't always obvious. Like, some people don't really try to get killed, they just kind of go, oh, Jester, I'll just be innocent then. But overall, I don't really like the Jester just because of how it works and how difficult it is to win. It is always nice to win as the Jester, but the likely chances of someone actually saying, oh, I got killed by an innocent and I was the Jester, is highly unlikely to me. Coming in at number 10, we have the Protector role. I don't think I've ever played with the role on my channel, but it is a role that I have made. So as a Protector, your job is to make sure that the assassin's target doesn't get killed, and if they do die, you die with them, kind of like a lover. However, if you get past the murderer book, you are still required to protect that person, and if they die, even if you've been past the murderer, you die too. You are still able to kill as a murderer if you do get past the murderer book, and you are also not allowed to stay with the assassin's target. I would say that is probably one of the bigger downsides of it. If you do manage to survive, it's okay. I put it quite low as it does have some things like a lover. However, I feel like you're more useful and you are able to potentially help the targets. You can't just not be with them at any point. And if the assassin goes in for the kill and you kill that person, you've done your job well. I'm personally not really a fan of the role, even though I made it. Number 9, we have the Executioner role. I know as a fact, we've never played it on my channel before, unless maybe it appeared in like one of my more recent videos, but as far as I'm aware, it hasn't. There's not really much to talk about with this role. It's basically, bodyguard has someone that they have to protect, and you win if the person that the bodyguard was protecting ends up dead at the end of the game. You don't really have much to gain or lose, it's just kind of a luck-based role, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. There's not really much about it. Even if you die, as far as I'm aware, if that person died too, the bodyguard's protector dies, you still win, which is pretty cool to me. So you're literally able to win even if you've been killed. Whilst I'm talking about the bodyguard role, coming in at number 8, we have the bodyguard. So it's basically executioner, but you actually know who is being protected. So you'd press a button at the beginning of the game which would indicate who you're supposed to be protecting. It's quite a lot like the Protector, where you're not able to stay with them at all times, but you can be with them on occasion. I put this role slightly higher than the Executioner, just because you know who's being protected. With the Executioner, it's all luck-based. With Bodyguard, even though it is still partly luck-based, because the person will either live or die, you actually know who you're protecting. And just like Executioner, but obviously the opposite, if the person you're protecting lives, even if they're of course a murderer, you will win at the end of the game. Number 7, we have the Medium. So the Medium works as, you can ask anyone from the dead as many questions as you want, but it must be within 10 seconds. So you can ask, how did you die? When did you die? What role were you? Anything like that. The Medium can be useful if you are trying to cover a fake death, because if you try and ask someone who's supposedly dead a question, and then they turn out to be faking their death, they would have to come back from faking their death and admit that they are faking their death, and you still have your ability. It is a one-time use, but if someone's maybe AFK or faking their death or anything, it does not count. You still have that one use. The one use only goes after you've actually spoken to someone from the dead. Overall, it's a pretty decent role. I just don't really see many people using it very often. Number 6, we have the Doppelganger role. So I really like the Doppelganger. Doppelganger used to work as, you pass the Doppelganger book to someone and they would pass that book to you, and whatever role they are, murderer, soul, assassin, lover, anything like that, you would become a role with them. It used to work as, if one of you die, you both die. So the new role is, you don't die if that person dies, but you do still become their role with them. Maybe 2 souls, a 3rd murderer, maybe a Murder Mystery 2, 2 assassins going after their target. It is pretty fun, I can't lie. I don't think I've ever been Doppelganger on the channel before, but we have used it several times. I have also been past the Doppelganger once or twice in my videos too. I mean, thinking about it, I might have been the doppelganger. I think on Power Rangers, when I introduced the doppelganger role, I might have been the doppelganger, but I know I was past the doppelganger, and that's how we became 3 murderers. Overall, a really good role, but time to get into the top 5. And number 5, we have the double agent. So the double agent is used in a way to trick the murderers. On the screen, it would appear that there are 3 murderers. What you're able to do is choose what team you want to be on. So you can either choose to become another murderer or become an innocent and fight against the murderers. I think the role's interesting. I only put it high because it's a killer role and I love killer roles. It doesn't really do much. 99% of the time people choose to become a murderer. The role is okay, but I don't really see much of a point of it existing. I just like the role because I can just choose to be a murderer. And at number 4, we have the assassin. So at the start of the game, you're assigned 2 targets. The first target is the person that you're supposed to kill, but if that target has either been killed sometime in the game before you've killed that person, or if that person is you, you'd have to kill that second target. If for some reason both your targets are dead without you killing them, then you lose. However, you are able to win on either the murderer side or the innocent side or serial killer side or any side. You don't have to be killed by a role, but of course, if you're attacking your target, it will most likely fight back. I like this role as you're able to actually survive with the killers and potentially win the game. You can kind of just lay back, watch everything happen, see who wins, see who loses. Overall, I think the assassin's a really good role. And at number 3, we have the soul. I put the soul very high because I like the idea of getting revenge on the person that killed you. So as a soul, you're just a normal innocent. But if you are killed by anyone, maybe the assassin's target and the assassin killed you, or maybe the murderer killed you, you're able to go through a soul timer. It usually takes about 30 seconds to get through. It differs on each map. So once you do get through the soul timer, it will say on the screen that the soul has been resurrected. So it'll let everyone know that the souls came back. You're able to kill the person that killed you, but if you're 100% on both the murders, you're only allowed to kill that person that killed you. If for some reason that person has been killed by someone else, you are then able to kill that other person that you know is a murderer, or if you succeed in getting revenge, you can also kill that second person. However, as a soul, you are not able to speak. People are also not allowed to follow you, and you're pretty much on your own. I just really like the role because I like the idea of getting revenge on whoever killed me. Coming in at number 2, we have the serial killer. I've never been the serial killer on my channel, and I don't recall ever having the serial killer appear on my channel, but hopefully in the near future it will. It could also be in some recent videos. We're starting to introduce quite a lot of roles now. So as a serial killer, you are a solo killer. And basically what happens is there are 2 murderers usually, and there is a button at spawn saying a murderer has died. So if a murderer has been killed, they would press the button, and that would mean that you're now allowed to start killing. You're not able to kill before the first murderer is dead, but after the first murderer is dead, you are then able to kill, and if you're the last one standing, you win the game. I would say one of the biggest downsides of this role is it can be pretty frustrating if both murderers are still alive and you do end up getting killed by one of them because, you know, you wanted to kill people. Overall, I really like the serial killer role. There is a tiny chance that there could be more than one serial killer. That's usually if there's a doppelganger and then they throw their book to you, and then you'd both become serial killers. But neither of you are able to attack until the first murderer has been killed. I think we all know what's coming in at number 1. So, of course, that's the murderer role. As a murderer, it works a lot like a serial killer, but you're able to attack straight away, and there's often 2 of you, but it depends on how many people are in the game too. Usually 7 and more. We do Murder Mystery 2, meaning there are 2 murderers. I really like being a murderer, going around killing all my friends. And I also really like going around on these kill streaks, which you might have seen on my channel a few times. Being a murderer kind of gives you the freedom of planning out your action and what you're going to do, and having someone alongside you, and either being chosen or choosing someone, which I think is really fun. There isn't really anything bad that I can think of off the top of my head. Be careful of who you kill, because that person could be a soul and they could come back to kill you. That person could be the assassin, and maybe they have or haven't already said it, but it is very pointless to kill the assassin in my opinion. It's also really good to kill a lover, because then that means that there's 2 people dead most likely. Overall, Murderer is definitely the best role, and I think most people at least would agree with me on that. But anyways, that's my rankings for the roles. I will just say there are certain roles I didn't use. There was the Ruse, there was the Hex, there was Innocent, and other roles. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I didn't really add Innocent because there's not really anything you do with it. You're just there. And then Hex, you place a block down on a certain block, and then you give everyone like blindness and slowness effects, which could potentially screw over a murderer in an attack. As far as I'm aware, the Ruse is like the Jester, but you're able to hit people with a sword, and people guess at the end of the game who the Ruse is, and they try and get themselves killed by some people. I don't know. I am the least familiar with the Ruse by far. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below where you'd like to see my channel next, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.